beautiful souls. I haven't done a YouTube live in a very long time. Drinking a beautiful cup of cacao from the South Pacific, beautiful cacao ambassador. But yeah, just wanted to come on here very inspirationally because I will be heading away on a journey tomorrow. I will quickly tap in on a journey that I've recently returned from in Wales, which was actually a 3-day fasting detox retreat with my partner Naya, where we dived into 3 days of detoxing and fasting together. So that was very powerful. So I will share about that another time. But for today, I want to talk about Scotland because that is where I'm going to be heading off tomorrow. To see a beautiful friend, and also it's so great because she's on the ancestral lands of myself through way of my granddad who was Scottish. Mama Cacao wanted to just come and be a part of that. But yeah, what I'm feeling to speak into today is about the ancestors and connecting in with our ancestors. And yeah, I've been on this journey for quite a few years actually. And I think someone asked me the other day, like, I'm feeling called to connect deeper with my ancestors, like, how can I do that? And when I hold my spaces through cacao ceremony, full moon journaling, I always bring in my ancestors. They're always my guide. But in order for people to connect with their ancestors, it's always a individual journey, like everything is. So what I kind of wanted to tap into today is about how to do that, and yeah, how to do it in a very intuitive way. I think for me, I could just quickly speak about why I kind of started to dive deeper into it, growing up in Aotearoa, New Zealand, and learning about this thing called our Pepeha. The Māori, beautiful indigenous souls of that land, have what's called a Pepeha, which is how you introduce yourself to people, and you would list off all these things that make you who you are, where you come from. So you would say what your mountain is, where you come from, what your river is. You would say what canoe, what waka you came on. Then you would say who your grandparents were. You would say what iwi, what hapu, what village you come from. So it really goes on to so many levels. So I feel like when I came across this way of introducing oneself, the Pepeha from the Māori culture, it made me really start to question, like, oh, where is my awa, my river? Where is my maunga, my mountain? Where am I actually from? Where do my ancestors hail from? And it's been a beautiful journey of diving deeper into that, and I'm still on this journey because I like to call myself, I guess, triple rooted, having lineage of Scotland and Ireland from my mother's side and the Solomon Islands from my father's side. So yeah, diving deeper into all these different lineages has been quite fun and quite grounding, and definitely gives you a sense of confidence of who you are in the world. Not only who you are in the world, but where you came from, and knowing where your ancestors came from and what they lived through so that you could literally be here breathing. It's very empowering and it's very inspiring. So that, you know, if there's anything you're going through in your life where you're like, oh man, this is really hard, and then you think of your ancestors and the struggles that they went through, it really gives you this boost of energy, like, oh, okay, if they did the thing and they were able to survive enough for me to be here, then I can do the thing. So yeah, tomorrow I am heading off to Scotland to see a beautiful friend. But yeah, my granddad, who is from Scotland, and he moved over to New Zealand, which is where this accent is from. I grew up in New Zealand from the age of 5. Before that, I was born and lived in the Solomon Islands, where my dad is from. But yeah, he moved from Scotland to New Zealand, Aotearoa, I think in the 60s. And my granny, who was Irish, she also moved to Aotearoa as part of this thing called the £10 POM, where essentially the British government gave a lot of British citizens £10 to go to New Zealand. And yeah, I guess in a way it was like a colonization again, to help with the economy, is what they said. And the idea was if you came back before a year, before 12 months, then you'd have to pay the government back £10. So anyway, my grandmother, Granny from Ireland, and my granddad, Poppy from Scotland, they met in Aotearoa, New Zealand, and had my mother and her sisters. So even just that part of the story is like really cool, because growing up in New Zealand from the age of 5, I never really felt like I belonged on that land. Like I knew the land was there, and I think I've always had a bit of a sort of a connection with land anyway, because of my upbringing and birth in the Solomon Islands. Us in the islands there, I would feel that we're very connected with the land, growing our own food, going out to the ocean, fishing, and yeah, just having a lot more connection with the land. So when I moved to New Zealand from the age of 5, I always felt this connection with land, but I didn't feel necessarily like I belonged to the land, or I wasn't really a custodian of that particular land, like I do feel when I go to the Solomons, and actually when I go to Ireland and when I go to Scotland. And I feel there's something very powerful in actually putting your feet on the soil of where your ancestors came from. This will be my 5th time to Scotland now, and I've been to Ireland 3 times. I think 3 times. 3 times, and every time I've gone onto those lands, well, the first time I went to Scotland, I had never been there in this physical body, but there was just this remembrance, like, I've been here before. My soul, my DNA knew that this land has carried my ancestors for generations and generations and generations. And I was speaking about this with a friend the other day, and I feel like, you know, if you think about it on like sort of a natural world kind of way, like when our ancestors, when they pass away, you know, their bodies go into the earth most of the time, you know. Naturally what should happen is the bodies break down in the earth, right? Through the mycelium network, you know, it should break down like any sort of dead animal, right? Because we are organic beings. And then I was thinking about it, and I was like, whoa, so if my ancestors' bodies have become the soil, and then the soil has now created new plants, new trees, you know, it is literally the soil I'm standing on. I'm literally connected with my ancestors. And it's just something to be felt, to be honest. It's like nothing, it's not something you can really explain, but something I've experienced through going back to the Solomon Islands where I was born. I always feel this like of resonance, like I feel a vibration in my body when I go to Scotland and when I go to Ireland, which, yeah, I've never really felt in Aotearoa, New Zealand. So it's interesting that. But yeah, just wanted to talk about that. If you are looking to, or having a calling or a yearning to connect deeper with your ancestors, and you kind of don't really know where to start,